newspaper. And General Olusegun Obasanjo is in the news this morning, and there is a statement. Let me read the headline. It says, unemployment responsible for rising banditry, kidnapping. Obasanjo. We'll also look into that in the course of the program. And I have this one saying, 6 missing, 2 rescued as U.S. cargo ship destroys Baltimore Bridge. Slain soldiers for burial today. Military demands killers capture. That story is found on page 30. Mom, others hail death sentence on Chinese for killing lover. That story is found on pages 4 and 5. And the last one I'll be taking says, assassination allegation. My voice note distorted, says Gani Adams. This story is found on page 30. And of course, these and many more stories will be found on the pages of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, on the Vanguard newspaper, today is the 27th day of March, 2024. Well, it's written thus, Okwama, our government security bodies failed to rein in militant leader. A Vanguard investigation. Well, we have a lot written underneath. I'm going to have to skip that. Cooker to FG, interrogate persons with ties to bandits. No cause for alarm, says Gumi. Others questioned by security agents. Now we also have this. Omeya was never governor of Rivers. Court rules. Biners. Collaboration with SSC, EFCC, NSA fruitful. CBN governor. NSC president cheers. Okay. As others attend. And we have banditry Zamfara under siege. Governor Lao tells Tinubu. Kingmakers boycott meeting over Olubadan designates absent. And we also have firm vows to deliver 350 MW hydropower project. And that's all you can get on the Vanguard newspaper. But finally, CBN raises interest rate to 24.7%, insists all verified FX backlog cleared.
Okay, I'm moving to the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Why we have not yet nominated. Okay, let me take that again. Why we have not yet nominated Olakuleyin as new Olubadan Kingmakers. That story is found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Ayedatiwa, APC, others mourn as governorship aspirant Akin Telure dies at 61. Aborigines group demands investigation into sudden death. That story is found on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Cost of borrowing to rise as CBN raises benchmark interest rate to 24.75%. Cardoso says $2.4 billion FX forwards backlog ineligible for payment. And to the biggest story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, it says Plateau, 16 APC lawmakers seek Tinubu's intervention. That story is found on page 13. Delta, slain soldiers to be buried today. Page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Pay at fare based on dollar exchange rate. NACON tells pilgrims. Page 3. And still moving away from that, looking into more stories. Lagos, Ogun to experience high rainfall, strong winds, government. And the last one I'll be taking says Gani Adams speaks on face-off with Igboho, Sanwo-Olu's chief of staff. That story is found on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune this Wednesday morning.
All right, on the Nation newspaper, I feel I have mixed feelings, especially on this headline. Governor, my state epicenter of kidnapping and banditry. Lawal seeks full military action to stop bandits. Kidnappers should be treated as terrorists. And now this is why I am having mixed feelings. Military frees 230 Boko Haram suspects. Now, troops raid clerk's home in search of soldiers' killers. And PDP to review party leadership in words, cancels 26 states. Adams, Igboho face-off deepens despite Oni's peace move. Security agencies begins probe of $2.4 billion unverified forex payment. Interest rate rises to 24.75%. Finally, all set for LP convention. Lagos to experience above normal rainfall. You get this and more from the pages of the newspapers, The Nation, The Vanguard,
The Punch,
and the Nigerian Tribune.
Oh.
So we move to the main issue for today.
All right, I haven't read out the front pages, the front stories on the front pages of newspapers this morning. It's time for us to link up with our guest analyst virtually, talking about Comrade Ayodeji Ajishokwe. It's so wonderful to have you with us this morning, sir.
Comrade brother.
Good morning.
Good morning, my dear comrade sister. Good morning to you, too.
All right, good morning, sir. Okay, let's start off with this bold caption on the front page of the Punch newspaper, talking about CBN accusing some banks on alleged forex racketeering. It says CBN EFCC probe banks, firms over alleged forex racketeering. And this particular issue has been on for a while now. Is this not a huge indictment on the banks and their CEOs? And can we truly absolve these banks from this huge allegation coming from the CBN?
Yes, my dear comrade brother. Let me go back dating into time. I remember very vividly, there was no issue of identity there. You could get Nigerian passports, you could get 5, you could get 10. You understand? The issuing authority knew, you had 5, you had 10. Then you just go to the bank. In the days of BTA, you understand? Basic travel allowance. You just go to the bank. And I think you are entitled to $1,000 or thereabout. So if you had 10 passports, you will go to the bank. You knew the officers there. It is always a deal. They know you if you come today and they come tomorrow. But you can do that 10 passports, 15 passports. I know a particular businessman who was doing business on the West Coast. He probably had up to 20 passports. All you need to do is interchange your name and basically have a different date of birth. You can't do that with the connivance. I use that word deliberately and intentionally. Without the connivance of the officer in charge of experts in the bank. You understand? That is at the lowest level. Now, when the whole thing was tightened up and you only have one identity, what do they do? I am a manufacturer. I apply for Forex, $5 million. The banks, what they simply do is, okay, you apply for $5 million, I'm jacking it up to $7 million. When you get the $7 million, I give you your $5 million, I have to myself, and that's what they play around with. And that is what is fueling. Where were the people on Marina, the people on Broad Street, where were they getting their foreign exchange from? If they were not getting allocation from the central bank, they have been there like forever. Where were they getting their foreign exchange from? But it is not as if the central bank did not know all of this. The only thing is that central bank is the banker's bank. They are supposed to regulate. And when you regulate, you have to enforce. They were not doing that because, everybody was benefiting from it. And it was fueling, the slide of the Naira, and it was also fueling. And those who needed the foreign exchange, they were not getting it. So it is not a new thing. And let me remind you, in the days of General Obasanjo, you will recall, they used to call it RNG. When General Obasanjo was military head of state, people were jailed. They used to call it RNG then. Obasanjo swept through. And I remember he jailed a high Egba chief. I will not mention anybody's name. And even during his second coming, there was a bank founder and high-ranking chief executive of bank. He was to be prosecuted. He was pursuing Obasanjo all over the place, even as far as China. It was only intervention. People intervened. Why don't you let the law take its course?
I remember his name.
So why don't you let the law take its course? We don't allow the law. The laws are there. The rules of engagement are there. But we are not applying it. It is not looking as if central bank wants to enforce. You understand? That is the only thing that is happening. Everybody knows that. Banks are declaring. Banks that are not lending money, to manufacturers. Where are they making all that profits that they are declaring from? Where are they getting it? Where are the banks getting all the profits from?
So what Olayemi Cardoso, the central bank governor, is saying now, it might be true when he said FX request fraudulent, made with invalid illegal documents.
Of course. These things, you see, there is what Yorubas call Owo. If I come to you, this is your own part of the deal. And everybody keeps silent, and then the nation suffers. So what central bank also is saying now is that we're going to enforce the rules. But the big question is, will they enforce the rules selectively, or will they enforce it across the board? Because some people might sacred cows, you understand, might have their head on the chopping board, you understand. So do they have the will, the political will, to enforce across the board without exemption? That is it.
Okay. Do we still have any?
Okay. Well, let's.
All right. So you mentioned the ex-president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's
retired General
Olusegun Obasanjo. And on the newspaper this morning, he made a statement: unemployment responsible for the rising banditry, kidnapping in Nigeria. Let's discuss this in full. Would you agree with this statement?
Well, you see, unemployment are in levels. There is outright unemployment. There is also underemployment. You get a university graduate, you understand? You ask him because he doesn't have anything to do. Some, not even some, many are riding Okadas now. Many are driving tricycles. So a number are teaching in private primary schools and are earning 25,000-30,000 so that they would have to do something. That is underemployment. Now, there is an army of people, and I mean nationwide, an army of people that are not even employable. They have no skills. They have no education and they have no skills. Now, even if you want to employ those people, of course, you have to skill them up. They are an army. And let us narrow it down. The entire northern region, the statistics are out there. That is why you have easy people, easy numbers, large numbers of unemployable, unskilled people, untrained people, uneducated people, except in probably in Eastern education. So they are available and vulnerable. That is even the key word. If you are not properly educated, you will be vulnerable to manipulation. They are therefore vulnerable to manipulation. That is why the whole lot of the biggest part of banditry and insecurity is confined to the northeast and northwest. When you come down south, those who are kidnapping, check them out. Those who are doing this kidnapping, check them out. You will see highly intelligent. Crime is not easy business. Not just getting on the road and kidnapping. High-level crime requires intelligence and skill. So when you see all the high-level crime that has been committed down south, you will see skilled, intelligent, educated people there. So Obasanjo is hitting the nail on the head, but we need elaboration so that we will know, the specific solution for specific situations in this regard. So the man is, and he should know. Of course, he should know. But you see, he's not hitting the nail on the head. He knows. When you say, people, look, we have to face our reality. There is an army in the north. And it did not happen start today. This thing has been on for decades, you understand, when you don't want to educate the people. An educated mind is a liberated mind. An educated mind who can say, no, this is not right. No, this is not good enough for me. I should not be doing this at my level, with my education, and my hope and plans for the future. I should not engage in this. This might truncate my desires and ambitions. An uneducated mind, you can't process anything, you understand, rationally and logically. So that is the challenge, and that is where we should narrow these things down. Of course, the numbers here in the South too, there are high numbers of out-of-school children. I see them every day. I see them, and it breaks my heart. Yes, individual organizations are trying, but it is not enough.
But this statement credited to General Olusegun Obasanjo might be right to an extent, because he's blaming this rise in banditry and kidnapping on unemployment. Well, we've had cases of some of these bandits and kidnappers being arrested, and it's been made known that they took to kidnapping as a side hustle. Some of them are gainfully employed somewhere else, but they're using that as a cover-up. And some people ask questions that Obasanjo has been on the seat before. That what did he do during his time to curb this rise in unemployment? That it's easier to blame when you are not there. But when you were there, what did you do?
In all sincerity, you will recall that this was not a situation. I think it was in the days of Yaradua. And it is ironic that the man that started the Boko Haram movement, he himself is an educated person. He held a master's degree. But you understand, he knew because of his education that the people that will be available to execute his plan will be untrained and unskilled people. So it was his education that gave him that advantage. That the only people that can execute, my plan is to get, and they were readily available. So he just gathered them under the cover, under the cover of religion. And because you are not able to process it, when you are not able to process anything, you just fall prey, you just walk in. But for General Obasanjo, there was really you cannot compare in any way. There was security situations. Of course, in the South, you will recall, resource control was a serious matter. Kidnapping, murder, assassination, but not this banditry and Boko Haram and all of that. No, that was what the situation in its own time. The situation is totally and completely different from its time now.
Okay.
But of course, like you said, it is so easy to criticize when you are not in office.
Okay.
It's so easy.
All right, it's written on the papers this morning. We're still on banditry. We're still on, unemployment. That the military released 230 Boko Haram suspects. That is the word, suspects. Now, these 230 individuals have been released, but there is no, there is no assurance they're coming out. They'll be employed. Now, it's still will it not go back to the fact that they're still going to be back in prison, or this Boko Haram menace is still going to continue because we have the menace of banditry and a lot of insecurity in Nigeria? Where is this whole thing going to stop? And we're going to have a better Nigeria and a better future for our youth.
I will use, from my experience that I've had interacting with Nigeria's correctional facility and the judiciary. When you go to the correctional facility and you take statistics, of course, the number of people there, if you have 6,000 or 4,000 there, 75% or 80% are actually awaiting trial, and the rest, 15-20%, have been actually convicted. Now, if a man awaits trial for 15, 7, 10 years, you understand? What do you think is likely? He does not know his fate, and just to take him to court, they will say there is no vehicle, and all sorts of things that should never happen to a human being. And in the course of staying in that place, you meet, hardened criminals. You sleep, wake, and interact with them. Let me tell you, check it out. 40-50%, if not higher, of those who are released from prison after spending so many years, they return there under 6 months, 1 year. They return there having committed another crime because they are not properly integrated into society. What you see? We used to call it prison. A prison is like a cage. That was why they changed the name to correctional facility. But are they correcting anything? I go to the prison regularly, at least twice a month. I don't see any facility that is correcting them there. Workshops and all of that. Yes, I'm aware that there are quite a number of them that are progressing with their education because, they would demand, they would request. In fact, I remember at the point they requested that they have a center for WAEC in the correctional facility. Yes. And they do not have tables and chairs. They will request for, even paying some of the fees and all of that. So, some will a few will do that. But others, you don't skill them up, no correctional, anything. So nothing positive never comes out of it. They go back to crime. Let me tell you, crime is profitable. Crime pays. Look at drug business now. You take 10 bags of cannabis. How much does it cost? And then you start, crime pays. And crime that has to do with drugs and all of that pays a lot. And then you swindle people. You set people up and swindle them. It pays. And our law enforcement agencies cannot totally absorb themselves of dealing with crime decisively. Though they have their own challenges, operational challenges. So that is our situation. We have many basic fundamental challenges, and I hope. So I was having a discussion day before yesterday, and we were talking about the Nigerian. Yes, it is on our platform, the Nigerian elite. On Monday, the Nigerian elite. Any society that moves forward, it is usually the elite that will decide. The elite in education will decide, develop a policy for education. For the economy, there will be subsectors of the economy, finance, shipping, and all of that. You develop policies and then you integrate and then you see it through in the interest of society. But do we have elite consensus in Nigeria? But somebody told me that there's an elite consensus in Nigeria. That the elite consensus in Nigeria is state capture. That the Nigerian state has been captured by the elite for their own individual benefit and not for the benefit of society. So, and when we have a situation like that, we are just doing pay as you go in this, services for service provider. When you have a postpaid or prepaid, you have a plan. That means you have a plan. Maybe it's 10,000 per month, it's 30,000 per month. But pay as you go is if you have 200 naira, you buy 200 naira. If I even buy 50 naira on direct from your phone now. So that is not a plan. That is pay as you go. And if there is nothing to pay for, then you stop there. A nation does not move like that. a nation must have plans, short, medium, and long-term plans for each sector. Do you see anything like that? And I'm not blaming any administration. It is Nigeria and those who lead us. So that is our challenge.
Okay.
It is fundamental.
Okay, in case you're just tuning in, you're on to AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM, and we are attending to some trending issues on today's national dailies. And Comrade Ajisope, since we are still talking about insecurity and the likes, there is this story that came out at the beginning of the week, talking about some stakeholders calling for the withdrawal or the removal of the army from Okwama and other Delta communities to at least to ease the tension in there. What's your take on that? Do you feel it's the right time for this men of the Nigerian army to be withdrawn from these people, since they are there as to enforce peace in those communities?
You see, this thing has been with us for a very long time. And the Niger Delta, very restive. And what is causing restiveness? It is resource control. The IOCs. What do you think SPDC, Shell Petroleum Development Company? That is why Shell sold off its onshore operations to go to the deep, to the high seas, where they cannot be disturbed. They are being disturbed onshore. You know, the community people, the military will just come and say, hey, give us 10 million naira. We are not vacating this place. And these guys are in business. And if you don't give them, their operations will be disrupted. So that is why SPDC sold all their onshore operations to stay offshore, where nobody can come and disrupt their operations. It is restiveness from the communities. And sadly, rather than the leadership of these Delta communities asking for developmental projects and programs, school, education, water, and all of that, power supply from the IOCs, whatever they get, they pocket it. And no development comes to the people. The environment has been destroyed. These people have no means of life. Their life is tied to the water. You understand? The waters have been destroyed. And their leaders in code, they are pocketing all the resources rather than demanding developmental projects. So this restiveness has caused instability in that place. Now to the military, the involvement of the military. They were drafted, because it is apparently beyond the level of what the Nigerian police force can cope with. So drafted the military. And then the military, you see, when there's a local issue and you are drafted into the place, there are players. There are players involved. And they have been able, to drag the military into it in such a manner that has seemingly compromised the military itself. You understand? People are alleging that what happened in Okwama is beyond what our eyes can actually see. There have been allegations flying back and forth, which in itself does not validate the heinous murder that took place. But that is what happens when you are dragged into a local issue, a national institution, dragged into a very local issue. You will look compromised. And that report, let me tell you, is in the Vanguard. And Vanguard is an authority in stuff that come from the South. So let us pay attention to what is coming from that report.
But comrade, let me cut in there. There have been accusations on the part of some of the members of the community in Okwama and Okolama, saying that some of this military men that were sent to enforce peace were actually taking sides. Some of them were taking sides with a particular faction. I referenced it without mentioning it directly.
When you get involved in a very local issue, you will look compromised in the eye of the public, or at least one side. You see, when they say they have to enforce and maintain peace, you can't enforce peace. You negotiate peace. You understand? When you have negotiated peace, you now maintain the negotiated peace. You cannot enforce peace now. How do you enforce peace? Oh, is that what they teach you? You can't enforce peace anywhere.
Even the two don't go together. Enforcement and peace. How do you force peace?
How do you enforce peace? You negotiate peace, and now you maintain the peace that has been negotiated. You understand? These instruments of apparatus of coercion are just symbolic that we are here. If you try and mess up, we will. You understand? It's just symbolic presence. We are seeing United Nations send troops, you understand, to maintain peace. They don't get involved in the fight. The moment you get involved, you will be compromised. And when you're compromised in national institution, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good.
Okay, I don't know if Favor still has anything on this particular issue. Okay, so much has been talked about insecurity. Let's go a bit into politics. And let's go to Plateau State, where we have, there's been this issue at the House of Assembly in Plateau State. Let's refresh our memory when 16 members of the House of the PDP were sacked by the Court of Appeal. Remember the story, comrade?
Yeah, I do.
And now the Speaker of the House of Assembly is denying the 16 APC lawmakers entrance into the House. He insists that he only recognizes 8 members until in court. But now this 16, it's on the front page that the 16 APC lawmakers seek Tinubu's intervention. Do we say that the Speaker is overdoing things, going by the judgment from the appeal court, denying these people entrance?
That is legislative rascality on the part of the Speaker. And of course, you can be sure he has a backing, subtle, covert backing of the governor. You see, the courts have spoken. The courts in Nigeria are the final arbiter. The appeal court, which is the final destination of arbitration for House of Assembly election petition, has spoken. That is the final. I do not know what those members who have been denied are waiting for. Go to court for enforcement. The court has said you are the rightful honorable member. If you have been denied, go to court for enforcement. And when you get that order of enforcement, it's straightforward procedure. If I get a court judgment now, and it is not, somebody is standing and as an impediment, I go to court for enforcement order. And I will be provided with law enforcement agencies after I get my enforcement order. The court will provide me with, the necessary, and the man will be cited for contempt. What are they waiting for?
But comrade, do you know that the speaker we're talking about, that is Gabriel Dewan, he has his own point. He said he maintains that there is a subsisting court injunction restraining him from allowing the APC lawmakers into the House.
Yes. In this country, we have seen how the judicial processes has been exploited to frustrate processes. Let them go and vacate the order. These are processes. You understand? Let them go and vacate. If there's a subsisting court order, let them go and vacate it. It's as straightforward as that. Let them go and vacate the court order. That is what you do. This guy is crying to President Tinubu for intervention. What intervention? Will the man give a presidential order or sign an executive order to that effect? No. This is the rule of law that we're talking about here. Straightforward processes. You don't jump the gun, you abide by the process.
Actually,
how can you be lawmaker? How can you be elected?
One of their representatives said they had to seek Tinubu's intervention because Tinubu played a father figure when there was crisis in the Rivers Assembly, and recently, even at the Ondo, remember the Ondo Aiyedatiwa saga that we had then, and the recent one coming from Ondo.
Comrade, brother,
that was his point too. That was his point. That if Tinubu could intervene, that he should also come to
look, Tinubu's intervention, these guys are vexed. If the case had gone to the Supreme Court, those PDP guys would have gotten their seats, you understand? But because the case, that was why the governor returned. This was what people call miscarriage of justice. But it cannot be reversed. It cannot be reversed. It cannot be reversed. They will live through this one. It's as straightforward as that. The law is the law. As long as it subsists as the law, it is the law. It is unfortunate, but that is the legal position. It's as straightforward as that.
But now, what is the way forward? Gabriel Dewan, the
way
speaker,
forward
said
is
he
to
said
comply.
he said no. Gabriel Dewan said he has an injunction, a court injunction, restraining him from admitting them. And they on the other
Well,
side are
guys,
saying they have. Do we now say the court is sometimes brings in confusion?
You know that. Look, there are courts of coordinated jurisdiction. It was not never like this. It was when the Federal High Court, decided to get involved in state matters. That is why they are called Federal High Court. You deal with federal issues, you understand? And then they started, there was some amendments in court rules, and then they started dealing with state issues, you understand? Yes. So, that one has to be dealt with first. Somebody goes to a state court on the matter, and then somebody runs to Abuja to a Federal High Court. You understand? How do you do that? But if we had, as it was originally, do you know that divorce cases go to Supreme Court now? Why should the divorce case go to Supreme Court? A divorce case in Labo, you drag this to Supreme Court.
A divorce case in Labo
goes to Supreme Court for what? A very domestic matter. So our laws have to be streamlined. It was in the days of the military that they started all that, and then the politicians aggravated it, a local issue, simply because they think, those in the state, if I'm the governor, and any case against me goes before a judge, is likely to rule in my favor. And then, okay, your own party is at the federal level. You now take the federal, you take the case to the federal court, so that you think, how can you people be thinking like that? That means we're not getting, justice. What we're getting are judgment.
Okay.
So that is it. Let them go and vacate the order, restraining the speaker from admitting them.
Okay.
That is the way it works.
All right. I like this point. I would like to say a thank you to Comrade Ayodele Ajoku. Thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning, sir. It's always
always my pleasure.
It's always a very interesting session with you on the program.
Thank you very much, comrade brother and sister. You have a most fruitful day, and God bless you.
God bless you. All right, sir. We've been having a conversation with Comrade Ayodele Ajoku, a seasoned broadcaster and a political analyst, and we're talking about discussing some issues, some trending issues in some of today's national dailies. It's still AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM. In a jiffy, we'll be reading your comments. Stay tuned.
Let's be dynamic with your morning update and make it better with Kickoff Sports Show, where we will be serving you all the latest from tennis, basketball, Formula One, football, exclusive interviews, and lots more.
Hamilton going for the move on Alonso and the 130. These two great side by side.
Martinelli! Oh yes! Gabriel Martinelli is back with a bang!
Headlines from Nigerian newspapers, behind the papers from the stand, analysis on burning trending issues across Nigeria and beyond.
The problem is not politics or tribalism, but corruption.
The governors will say, give us our own slot. The chairman of local government will say, give us our own slot. Who does those slots go to?
You offend, they arrest you, they detain you, and they release you. That's all.
Hello, my name is Oladapo Okunubi.
My name is Victory Onyedikachi.
My name is Adedamola Lafenwa.
And my name is Favor Oloruntola.
Join us weekdays 9 a.m. on your Remedy Radio dial, Solutions 939 FM.
Here, we make it different from the norm.
The drama, the suspense, the emotions, the gang moments. Don't miss out on Nollywood movies and web series on YouTube with the YouTube Buffet plan from MTN. You can enjoy over 10 hours of Nollywood content made for you. Sharply dial *312*800# to activate the YouTube Buffet plan from MTN and start enjoying. YouTube made for you.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! It's that time of the year again. It's time for Laugh Matas with Benga Denk and friends live in Ibadan. Featuring Corey Debelo, Aristos Band, T-Famous, Omobaba, Bash, Babatumishe, Dr. Smile, Wale Waves, Babalaria, The Ambassadors, Ozane, Eteye, MC90s, Mr. Rain, Rapping Daddy, Tai Chi, Vic Keys, Benga Laughter Castle, Mario, Mikoyo, Prince Fella, Stylo, Creative Toby, Cartoon Boys, DJ Sexy, and more. Date, March 31st, Easter Sunday. Venue, Jogo Center, Ring Road, Ibadan. Time, 3 p.m. Tickets, regular 3K, VIP 10K, table of 8, gold 500K, platinum 1 million, seats on tables 65K and 120K. Tickets available at Hair Sense, Ace Supermarket, Foodco, Ultima Restaurant, Grand X Stores, online at ariatickets.com, grandtickets.com. Brought to you by Multina, Goldberg, Biggie, and Ace Beaters. Laugh Matas, Ibadan.
Media partner, Solution 93.9 FM.
Welcome back. Still AM update on Solutions 93.9 FM, and I have some comments pertaining to some of the stories we talked about on the program today. I have this one coming from HC Oladuni. We really need that probe. Talking about CBN EFCC probing banks. He said, we really need that probe. Banks are the greatest racketeers of our foreign currency market. Our collective national resources are in the custody of bank owners and their directors in the past 30 years or more. Okay, Adeniyi Adebiyi, you will find out that these corporates that are bank chiefs financed some powerful people that hold political posts, making it difficult to deal with the corporate. Okay, and I have this one coming from Obiora. We all know where this probe will end. The only reason they want this country is to keep milking it, but some poor souls are supporting them. Okay, do you have comments there, or should I continue? Okay, okay, I'm trying to. Let me say this. Okay, nothing is coming out from nothing. It is a diversionary tactics. Sometimes I wonder why the CBN does not penalize erring banks even when they sabotage the policy openly. This is coming from Sanusi K. Let them explain the dollar's whereabouts. Let's fight until we see the end of this forex crisis. Okay, so much comments as regards the CBN EFCC probe on banks as regards forex racketeering. Let me see if there are other stories. Okay, this is regarding the Okwama invasion. Abubakar Olariwaju Oko said, since they have deserted the village, caterpillars can finish the job and turn the place to barracks. Bright Ozowara said on Nigeria host. Okay. This is not part of it. Okay, do you have a comment there? There are some comments here that I can't read on air.
I mean, I just wanted to know why you would, suggest caterpillars going to the villages and turning it.
Oh, yeah, I think he was just being sarcastic with that comment. I mean, when
just too much.
Looking at what is happening in Okwama, it's been invaded, houses, buildings pulled down. So I wonder what the military are going to turn the village into after coming and pulling down all the buildings there. I think that was what the man was trying to say, sarcastically referred to. Okay, let me take two more comments. This government is not playing. I told everyone they will be making the biggest mistake by holding dollars real soon. You may not really like this president, and maybe that dislike might be blinding you to some of his good efforts that might be making the unusual transformation that you have craved for, but never really anticipated to come from his administration. Dollar will soon go down. I'm not sure you will be so proud of this decision you are making by keeping dollars. You are not in USA. This is Nigeria, and the legal tender will continue to be Naira.
I would agree with this in a way, because I think as at yesterday it was 1,002. I think we have reduced this morning. And I see a lot of people crying, lamenting, oh, I bought the dollar for 1,800, kept it thinking that it's going to increase, and then it's depreciating. Well done. But the thing I just want to point out is the fact that the dollar has gone down. I believe that people should begin to, reduce the price of their goods and services. It's getting to the point where people are now lamenting and, just not so happy with the happenings. You have the dollar reducing, and then you expect that, okay, fine, I'll be comfortable. It's not working. It's still good. See, I couldn't want to ask a question. Why is it that things increase in Nigeria, and once there is a drastic change, the price of goods and services do not drop to the normal prices?
There was a funny riddle I was told about some years back. I said, what goes up never comes down. That is prices of goods in Nigeria.
Oh, God.
I mean, that was on a lighter note. But I was somewhere yesterday and people were saying that, it was saying in Yoruba that one can suck with dollar wale. Our price and waja wale. I mean, the dollar, we just hearing on the news that dollar is coming down, but the prices are not good. So that brings to question: Are we not the ones?
No, can I even
hurting
ask,
ourselves?
Even aside that, so could we now say that it's just a lie against the dollar, because the dollar is reducing? Everyone would say, "Oh, dollar lo woni gbogbo kan se nlo sókè." But now that it's reducing, ṣé wọ́n wá parọ́ mọ́ dollar ni?
Well, I think all we can do is just to keep appealing to our people out there. I mean, things are already hard. Don't let us make things harder on ourselves. I mean, what more can I say?
I mean, when you have this fear in you that things are getting expensive, the level of income is not increasing, and then you feel like, okay, I should have a plan for retirement in the nearest future where I'm going to be comfortable, and you're looking at how you are earning now, you cannot even plan for the future. And you need to take care of yourself, your health. We all understand how it's going, but at the same time, the fact that things are going up doesn't mean you should not give yourself peace of mind. Yes, please try and just, embrace it. Just overlook some things. It's going to get better. That positivity, that motivation, it will get better. It will get better. I couldn't sleep overnight because I was thinking about, the increase in price of goods and services, a lot of things. But if you decide in your heart that no matter what, I will be good, I'll be better, I'm sure that things will, of course, get better as long as you take care of your health. Health is wealth.
Okay, it's the wrap today on AM Update. We'll be back tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. My name is Adi Damola Lafenwa, wishing you a winning Wednesday. Good morning once again.
Good morning. My name is Favor Olorunchola. Take care of yourself.
Don't be mad at me when you hear what I say about you and me making Nigeria great. What are you doing? What am I doing? Doing nothing, no, 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 but pushing around more and more. If you try, and I'll try to make God be, we'll be proud to do. Came such a long way to be what we are. 1960, our independence. We've been pushed around and cheated many times.